Welcome to Realasticity, where we are stretching out of our comfort zone and snapping back to reality. I'm your host, Master Mindset Coach at Real Life, and what we believe here is we keep things real by owning it. And what we mean by being real is we resonate with our truth, we engage fully in this life in the most meaningful way possible, we're activating our intentions, and we're living a legacy of love. So here, if you want to be real, you got to own it. And for us, it also means operating with inspired integrity and truth. And through these times, this historic moment in life where everything has been spun on its head, we're all playing, 2020 bingo of, who had the Loch Ness monster for this month, who had murder hornets, back in February. We didn't know. But here we are on a precipice in time where we can truly change the course for all of humanity. And for me, when we talk about stretching out of your comfort zone, we really mean that. You got to stretch. This life has been so comfortable up until now. Everyone has been in their own little routine. And now we've been jostled for the last 3 months. We don't know which way it's coming. We don't know what to look out for next. We don't know if it's going to be aliens or the ground's going to become lava. We don't know. But what we do know is we have control over this moment right now. And right now, the greatest thing we can do is shift over from fighting oppression, fighting racism, fighting the world, and shift it over to love. Nothing in life has ever been won through fighting. But when you stop fighting, put your gloves down, open up your arms, and embrace yourself, embrace your neighbor, embrace the people across from you. Embrace humanity and go back to the very basic, the thing that we're all called to do, and that is love. Now, some people are going to argue about, but you just don't understand. You know what? There's so much that I don't understand, but what I do know is I'm an Army brat. I grew up with, biracial parents, and having been carted from Army base, always being the new girl, always being, the one to have to figure out where's my place, how long do I get to have these friends for, what do I get to enjoy now? It's prepared me to be uprooted, to have my whole life turned upside down every 2 to 4 years, and for 5 years in a row, as at 5 different schools, new friends all the time. And what it taught me is resilience. And I can't blame the other people for how I'm being treated. I can only look at myself. And for those that have ever worked with me, and for those who are around me, they know that, tongue in cheek, I joke about no BJs are allowed. And when I'm working with married couples, they always like, the husband's like, what? I go, no, no, no. Hear me when I say no BJs allowed, because I mean no blaming, no justifying. You own the situation. When you own it, you can change it. When I rent a house, I can't change the ugly pink tile. I can't change, anything about it because it's not mine. But when I own it, I can rip that tile out and I can put down the most beautiful, amazing flooring that I have always dreamed about, and I can do anything I want with it. That's it. And in this life, we have got to stop blaming other people and stop fighting with other people. Take a moment to embrace them. Take a moment to love them. Take a moment to stop and listen. And yeah, when I say listen, don't listen to respond, listen to understand. Listen so you know their heart, you know their intention, and you know that when they say something, this is the heart that it comes from. we'd talk about swearing and all those other things of, oh, you shouldn't do that. And I just, joke because part of having to move from place to place is I learned to be very sarcastic. I joke about this is part of what gets me through is sarcasm. And you know what? Swearing comes along with it, which means I'm just fluent in sailor. It helps me get by in a lot of places. But as we go through, really stop to understand where people are coming from. Because when I say something that's crass, when I say something that someone else might be, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. Well, yeah, you can. If you know me, you know I'm going to always crack a joke. You know I'm always going to find the quickest pun and quickest snapback. And it's not meant to be hateful. It's not meant to be harmful. It's meant to lighten the mood and create a little laughter. Often it's at my own expense. It's not a big deal. But I had to learn that at a very young age because it didn't matter where I went, I was always different. It didn't matter what town I moved into, I was military. And locals didn't like military. And it wasn't that it was bad for the economy. And now there's more pride and more love given to our servicemen and women. But as a child in the military, having to move from place to place to place, kids are mean. Kids aren't always as kind and loving, as accepting as they, you know, really ought to be, but it is what it is. And what I had to learn was you have a tough exterior. And really, all I can do is how do I get them to like me? How do I get them to not pick on me? And what I found is people like it when you listen. People like it when you're funny. And a quick joke and a little bit of laughter goes a long way. But at the end of the day, I had to own who I was. And part of the cool thing I thought about moving was I got to reinvent myself every time I moved. Well, now as an adult, I don't want to move that often. I don't want to pick up and change house. And oh my gosh, I am not going to have to pack up this house again anytime soon because nobody wants to be packing and sorting and stuff. I mean, heck, I haven't even unpacked all the boxes I have, and I've been here for 4 years. These are the pieces where take this opportunity to stop blaming what's going on around us. Unpack your own boxes, your own emotional boxes, your own biases, and take a good hard look at them. And I kind of like Marie Kondo's whole thing about, if you love it, allow it to spark joy, keep those things, keep everything that sparks joy in your life, but take a good hard look at those pieces and beliefs that you have. Is it really the other person? Can I really go and mandate kindness and peace and love if I've got bias and prejudice and hatred and bigotry in my heart? The whole blaming and justifying, there is nothing good that's going to come from it. It's just going to cause more strife. It's going to cause more reaction. It's going to cause more people to be defensive. And why? Why should we have to go through life in a defensive posture? It's exhausting. I would much rather go through this life and focus on how can I love today? How do I love on myself? How do I love on my family? How do I love on my neighbors? Everybody I come into contact with today. What can I do today? And that's all we can really think about because all we have is right now. We have no abilities to change the past. It is what it is. But did we learn from it? I kind of look at what's happening and the dismantling of what has happened in our past, and some good came from it, and some evil was allowed to persist. But when we try to erase And it's going to be funny because to use the term whitewash the past, as we go through life and we try to, use that soft filter to just, yeah, let's smooth out those wrinkles that we didn't really like. I call bullshit on it. And why? Because if I don't learn from that mistake, if I don't learn from that era, if I don't find gratitude for the hardships that we have had, I cannot make progress. That is the part where I hope we're able to come back to that space of love. We're not here to hurt each other. We're not here to cause each other harm. We're here to love each other. Even the ugly parts of our history. If I were to whitewash my own past, there are some places where, yes, I would love to get rid of this part of my past and that mistake that I made and all these things that shouldn't have happened. But I can't because it's already happened. Can't take some words back, can't take some actions back. But what I can do is I can move forward and I can love. I can reach out and extend a sincere apology. I can do better with every action that I take. And as I continue to move forward, that's all I can do. But it's challenging. And that's where we talk about stretch. We're going to stretch out of our comfort zone. I have to stretch out of my comfort zone, get out of my happy little introverted box and stretch out and allow my extroverted side to really come alive. I have to allow all these pieces of my life to all hold a position of honor, because whether it's been a blessing or a lesson does not matter. I have the same amount of gratitude for all of it. Certain things, the hard things in life, gave me character and gave me strength. Having to deal with death and suicide and divorce and so many other pieces in my life, I mean, we survived the Me Too movement, and then all these horrible other things come out about the atrocities that happen to women on a regular basis. And, some people are like, well, that doesn't happen to everyone. And I'm not going to give you statistics because I don't know what the true number is, but I can tell you in my personal life, every single woman I know has been assaulted, myself included. And you know what? Those moments I don't wish upon anyone. And there are some hard pieces to learn, but I did learn from those things. And it's not, oh, don't wear that outfit. No, I learned if I want to be safe, there are certain things that I have to do for myself. Kind of like I don't expect to cross a busy highway and make it because I'm going to get hit. It's going to be hard. You learn the hard things. And I used to always kind of use the analogy of my son. My, he's a good kid. He means well. But I remember when he was 3 years old, I kept telling him, don't touch the toaster. It's hot. Don't touch the toaster. It's hot. And at one point, I'm like, I don't know if this was like, some people be like, bad mom. I decided to quit telling him it's hot and just let him touch it. I didn't want him to touch it, but he learned. He never touched that toaster. When I told him, toaster's hot, he left it alone after that. But he learned. And for all of us, through these hard times, through these challenging times, through this moment in history, we have to learn. It's not about fighting. It's about loving. It's not about who's right. It's about sitting down, listening, sharing a moment with another human, no longer treating them as objects, no longer putting them into a box where we profile and treat a certain way just because they look dangerous. They look different from us. It is time to wrap our arms around each other and just love. So many people try to goad me into the political debates, and I kind of look at the whole thing in this very odd fashion, and I don't expect anyone to agree with me, but I kind of love what's happening right now simply because the whole system, which we all know is broken, the whole system is being shaken up and turned on its head. And we're finally getting a chance to hopefully take it apart and put something in place that is so vastly different and better, where we're here to serve each other. We're here to provide opportunity. We're here to really help each other grow and in turn help ourselves grow. Like I said, for me, it's about being real. And I think about that legacy of love that I want to leave behind. It's not about the knickknacks. It's not about money. It's not about anything else, but the inheritance that my children will have is an inheritance of love and peace and acceptance, how to be who they're created to be instead of who they're conditioned to be, how to love themselves fully and find their path in a world that will dictate to us how we should be doing things. And I mean, right now we're in a space where there's so much opportunity. It's just here for us to embrace. So if we can shift our mindset, if we can shift over into a space of awe and wonderment, and instead of going through panic and anxiety, shift over into a space of how can we create this into something better? Maybe, just maybe, we can expand our comfort zone and encompass it into a space where we truly, truly have love. So, for all of us here at Realasticity in real life, I want to thank you for joining me today on our inaugural podcast back, our relaunch of a conversation of how do we move forward? How do we grow? And how do I create my own legacy of love? Y'all take care of each other out there. Be good. See you next time.